in our panel today. So certainly I think this is going to be a great match. I'm glad to see that Paula and her team put out notepads for us. We can take notes because it truly is the question of the, I wouldn't say of the year, but probably it's been 2 to 3 years. Ghosting is at an all-time high. We've never seen anything like this before. Where, and then we are talking from $100K a year to $11 an hour. It is unbelievable. Our owner that has been in the industry for over 50 years just is shocked. So we've never seen anything like it. So we are constantly, this is the very first workshop. I haven't seen anything out there like this. I think that this will be an interesting topic when years come as companies are redeveloping and figuring out what we can do to attract talent to their open positions. So I wanted to start out by introducing Jennifer, our moderator. Jennifer is representing the healthcare industry. And Jennifer comes with over 18 years of marketing and communications. She's going to be asking the pre-selected questions. There will be a Q&A at the end though, so certainly know that if there's a panelist that you particularly want to ask a question to, then we'll allow time at the end to be able to do that. Thanks, Debbie. And then so Jennifer, thank you so much for moderating. I know she's going to do an awesome job. And I'm just going to start and go the room this, well, maybe this way, because I want to say her name correctly. Nayeli.
Yep, you got it.
She represents really the service and repair industry to both petrochemical and construction. So with her experience and what she does, she's got a good perspective. She's also somewhat new to her company, so someone that was recently on the jobs market and look. So that's going to be helpful to see what attracted her to that particular company. And then we have Cody. Cody is representing production/manufacturing, also servicing petrochemical, and also probably some in construction as well. Cody, gosh, he was just really somewhat new to his company, and he's actually working through Metter Staffing. However, his company's already told him they want to hire him perm. So what attracted him to that? Cody, and I'll let him tell his own story without me telling it, but he went from retail to industrial. That bridge is not common. So we'll want to definitely hear from Cody on what and how that transition happened and make the comparison of how he sees it. And then also Tess, she's a recent grad from Texas State University. She graduated in 2020. Everyone wants to know what recent grads are looking for in their employment and what attracted her. She has the opportunity to actually work with Jennifer. And so she works in the healthcare industry. So what attracted her to that? Picking her brain will be extremely interesting and fun to learn what our recent grads are looking for. And then we have Celeste. Celeste represents the restaurant industry because I don't know if we have anyone in restaurant today, but we know retail and restaurant are such hot items and they were hit hard as in all of us, but particularly restaurant when it came to COVID and some of the changes and how they had the hiring processes. And with her years of experience, which is over 10 years of experience in hiring, then she has such a variety of people that she touches and how she attracts talent to her restaurant. And then also Alexis that I get to work with as well. Alexis represents staffing. So she's a recruiter. She interviews about 30 people a week from industrial to administrative. So we want to hear from her seat, what is she hearing when you're interviewing that heavily? What are you hearing on a weekly basis and on a day-to-day basis of what a person is looking for and why they reject a job? So with no further ado, I will turn it over to our moderator, Jennifer, and thank y'all for being here.
Good morning, everyone. So we'll start off with the first question to Ms. Tess Hammock. When you were looking for a job, what values were you looking for?
So when I started looking for a job, it was a little interesting because COVID was pretty fresh and I graduated December 2020. So it was still in the time when there weren't a lot of opportunities available. So I was really, like, if you had told me I'd end up in healthcare, I would have laughed because I'm not science at all. But I'm a communication studies major, so I knew I wanted to do something with communication or marketing or something along that realm. I got a lot of rejection letters. It took a while to actually find someone who would not ghost me. So it was really interesting when I was going through the process. And I actually found out about this job through a mutual friend. So I came in for the interview and I really liked the atmosphere. I loved how Jen, when we were going through the interview process, was like, you know, we really are a team. We really value each employee, which is something that I really wanted to incorporate into my life because, you know, you work a lot of your life. So I was like, I want to go somewhere where I'm going to feel valued as a person and have, I benefits would be good, but, you know, COVID kind of made it to where I was really not desperate, but looking at a wide variety of options. So when I found this job with Jen, I was like, oh, this really aligns with, you know, the benefits that I'm looking for, the values within the company, like company culture and just the overall environment. Hourly was great. It was just a regular 40-hour week job. So it wasn't going to be anything extreme, in my opinion, because I did want a work-life balance. So when I got offered the job, I was like, you know what, this is going to be a great start. Like, let's see where it goes. And it's been really enjoyable. So I've really, really enjoyed our company's culture because we do have a very good, very friendly staff and we're very close. So it is really fun to work there, but it's also professional at the same time, which is a nice balance because it's not so, you know, professional corporate feeling, but it's also like, oh, you can joke around and have fun, whatever, but you still get your work done. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And Nayeli, if you were writing a job post listing, what are the things that you would include and what would you not include?
Right, so I do this a lot actually for my job now as the HR generalist. So I think writing a good job posting is essential to getting the right candidate because you want to be really clear and concise on what you're looking for. And you know, you want them to be able to eliminate themselves. You don't ever want to discourage anybody. So I would add a quick summary or just like quick information about the company. Clear and established duties. You want to make sure that they know exactly what they're getting into. What are the qualifications? You know, if they need a bachelor's, if they need, you know, just a high school diploma, whatever it is, you want to make sure that it's on there. I would even add personal characteristics, like what are you looking for in a person? You know, if they're like, you know, quick thinkers, things like that, if they're like high spirited, because sometimes people that, you know, are a little bit introverts won't like that kind of position. I would also add, you know, maybe a link on where they would go to apply and even the pay range. I know a lot of people don't post that anymore, but I think it's essential because, you know, it's just so hard to attract candidates nowadays. Yeah.
Right, and what would you not include?
Any wording that discourages people from applying, because our job is to try to attract, you know, candidates, not to discourage. So anything that says like, do not apply if you don't need characters, I would never add something like that.
Oh, okay, I see. So you pretty much keep it open.
Keep it open, yeah.
Okay, and then you can read it out as they come through.
Exactly.
Okay, so this question is for Celeste and Cody. If you could say your top 3 priorities when searching for a job, what would that be?
First for me is definitely like benefits, like thinking about longevity as far as the company is concerned, and then definitely close second is growth. I don't want to be stuck with a company and be doing the same thing for the next 25 years. That's a big thing that I'd be looking for. Overtime is great because especially consistency. So a consistent schedule, something that doesn't jump around, especially coming from retail, that can drive you nuts. And those are my top concerns when looking for a job, 100%.
Okay.
They're almost the same. Benefits, obviously, because you are wanting to be somewhere not for a short period of time. You'd like to have the things like, for me personally, healthcare, because my husband's job is always back and forth. That way my daughter has consistent care. She's important. So those kind of things like that. Now as I get older, I think of like 401ks type of things, which as a management team we're discussing with our operator who owns the store that I work for. Things like hourly, I actually prefer to work hourly versus salary. That way, if there are any overtime opportunities, that's reflected, which that kind of goes into flexible scheduling, almost kind of that. We have a lot of individuals who want to use, especially the service industry, as kind of something to work and go to school with. So we're more than happy to always have someone off on their Monday, Wednesday classes, things like that. But for when I was looking, at the beginning, that was what I had looked for, was someone with flexible schedule. And then kind of, as he said before, you want to have the opportunity to move upwards. You really don't want to be stuck in a certain position. I would rather be challenged. I would most certainly want to learn something new or benefit from somewhere else, help my team out in a different way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that answer. Alexis, so we've heard that people don't give up on companies, but they give up on people, in particular managers. What is your preferred management style?
So my preferred management style would definitely have to be a democratic or a charismatic management style. Democratic managers, they seek input from their employees. To me, that's important because it makes me feel like my opinion is valued. It makes me feel like I have a say in what is going on in my team, and it's not just, you know, a manager telling you what you need to do and you have no say whatsoever regardless of how you feel. A charismatic management style, they seek to build in personal relationships with their employees. As someone who is in an office, 8+ days an hour, I want to be able to have those personal relationships. I want to be able to ask my manager, hey, how's your family? How's the dog? How's the new house? And those are something that I've sadly not experienced in previous roles. Thankfully, working with Metter, I've been fortunate to experience that, but I have left previous roles due to management and due to just how they were seeing things and how we were not valued as employees, or our opinions were not valued.
Can you give us an example of when you felt not valued? What are some of the things that happened?
Okay, so my very, very first job, I used to work for Orange Leaf, and it started off amazing. We were very, very involved in the community. My boss at that time was always asking our opinion on what we could do more on, hey, where do you guys think that we can go? And I really appreciated that. But whenever she ended up selling the business and we had someone else come in, the new manager just didn't see a point in being involved in the community, didn't even bother asking if it was something that was beneficial for the company, if it was something that we seen, the fruit of the labor coming from. She just was like, I don't like this, we're not doing this, and it's out. And it was really sad for the entire team at that time because we truly did enjoy. That was something that made me enjoy, working with people, and it was a big bummer to know that she just took that away without even bothering to ask the rest of the team how things were going and how we felt about it. It was just her decision, and that was final.
I see. Okay. Tess and Cody, if you could share 2 or 3 goals that you have for your career.
So I really I love the fact that my current job, we give back to the community. I've always loved to do volunteer work. So that's something that is a goal of mine and with any career, is to have either a company that works within their community or some partners with some sort of nonprofit. So that's something that I really enjoy. I also, like Cody was saying, growth within the company is important to me. I really want to take on a leadership position as I grow within our community and in my role. And ultimately, if our company expands, I would love to, have somebody under me that I can help mentor or teach what I do now, and I could do a little bit more complicated stuff. So, and then just as Celeste was saying, having more challenging roles within my current role, being assigned new tasks and learning different sort of avenues within my current marketing position would be great too, because it's keeping it constant, keeping it changing.
Pretty much the same for me, but also I like to be diplomatic with all my coworkers, even if we don't see eye to eye. My boss has already hinted that he's looking for his replacement, and he's giving me ways, this is how I think, this is how I want you to think, and he's gone around to everybody saying the same thing. And some people are just like, okay, whatever, and passing it off, but I'm taking that very seriously. So as far as growth is concerned, I'm looking at ways that I can think like him. I'm trying to become well-versed around multiple machines different things. I mean, I painted a wall last week and that's not even what I hired on to do. So I'm just trying to become well versed, different positions, do different things, and become familiar with the workplace. And I feel like that's a good goal to have, is becoming as flexible as you can and become as valuable as you can. And then also, I think that's really it, honestly, just becoming diplomatic, and as well as just being well versed and trying to be like a beacon for your boss, because at some point I would like to lead. So that's definitely one of my goals.
Well, I've definitely noticed a common theme that we have a lot of leaders here. Y'all like to be challenged and stretched, so I think that's beautiful. And Celeste, where do you see yourself in the industry 5 and then also 10 years from now, and do you still see yourself in the industry?
So yes, I do. I've obviously been there for quite a bit. I enjoy the people that I work with. It would be heartbreaking to leave type of thing, because they've become an extension of my family, and it's something that I'm grateful for, because I'm aware that it's not always common, depending on where you work. Within 5 years, theoretically, we'd like to own another location. It is something that we have been looked at for the past couple of years. So within 5 years, I would like to be over 2 different buildings. So that will mean a lot of hiring. So hopefully within about 5 years, we'll be in a different position where maybe we have too many people that want to be in the work industry. So that will be kind of a whole different ball game. In my current role, what I would like to do with it in 10 years from now, I'm currently the marketing director of my location. I would like to take a seat back within kind of almost before the 10-year mark, maybe around like 6. I would like to be able to take a step back and actually have key personnel at each store kind of do the physical aspects of our job, and then me just kind of work on scheduling out things in regards to posts, because obviously social media is a really big ordeal. It's utilized, it's the way to get your point across with anything nowadays. So kind of taking more of a role on that, and then having key people doing each store, kind of meeting up with them, and almost taking like an office managerial type of role, instead of being like an in-person, we're running out orders to people, which I do, and it's and it's still fun, but within the kind of like 10-year mark, I'd like to take a step back and be able to do that.
And Nayeli, how long do you expect to get a promotion, and when you don't get that promotion, what's your timeline before you start seeking something else?
So I think this is more about expectations, like what expectations you hold for yourself. Obviously I hold high expectations for myself. I think within a year, I should have grown, enough, and I should have learned, and I should have, become more like a leader in my company. So I would say within a year, I would like to see some type of promotion, or at least a pay increase. Of course, that's performance based. And I always like to talk about that during my interviews. I like to talk to my employer, hey, how does your promotion model look like? Do you promote within? What does it take? What kind of initiative would it take for me to get promoted? Things like that. I wouldn't leave right away. I would, try to show my employer my worth and my value and my asset to the company, and try to persuade them. I don't think it's right to leave like right away. I think that you need to give them a time, and you don't know where they are as well. So definitely would not leave right away.
Okay, so you would try everything before?
I would try, definitely.
Before you leave.
Especially where I am now, I'm really happy with my company, so I would give them that courtesy. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. So Tess, would you take less money if you were able to go to a different company with that match your values?
I wouldn't leave my current job because I the values that I have align similarly.
That's a good answer.
When your boss asks that question.
Yeah, sure.
Ultimately, if I were in a position where I was unhappy with my current job and there was a different job offering that was less money, but aligned more with what I wanted within the values of that company, yes, I would take less money, because while money is nice, I think ultimately, and this goes back to my dad constantly saying, you know, if you love what you do for work, you're never going to work. So my thought process is, well, if I'm going to spend a lot of my adult life working, I might as well love what I do and work in a place where it makes me happy, so that I'm not, you know, going somewhere where I'm going to be unhappy for 8+ hours a day during the week and then dreading going. Like, I want to enjoy what I do. I want to enjoy the people I work with. Especially like with our job, we do a lot of like community events outside of the normal work week, and it doesn't bother me because I enjoy what we do and I enjoy giving back and meeting new people. So yeah, ultimately I would take less money for a company that aligns with my values.
Okay. So Nayeli, how do you define a great work environment, and what type of company culture would you attract?
I think for me, one that like is culturally diverse and one that celebrates, you know, both that diversity in different ways. One where I can get along with my coworkers, that it feels more like a family environment other than, you know, just like, you know, like rough and rigid and super competitive. I mean, competition is good, but you also have to be able to have like a supportive environment. I think that's something that I'm definitely attracted to. One where you can be yourself, but you have to be respectful and, you know, be professionally courteous.
Okay. So yeah, healthy competition, right?
Yeah,
That's
of course,
always good.
it's always good.
Yes. So Alexis, are you comfortable working in a traditional workspace?
I am. I have always worked in a traditional workspace between cubicles, offices, the little trailers at the refineries. However, as a versatile employee, I truly can make myself feel comfortable anywhere. I'm definitely the type to where you just ask me where you need me to be, to let me know what I need to do, and I will make this space my own.
Okay. Celeste and Cody, how important is diversity amongst your coworkers and management? How important is that?
So mine is kind of a weird answer. To me, I think it is important. However, it's not at the top of my list. I'm about work ethic. To me, I'm sorry, I do not know what's going on. So I guess to kind of break that down is, you know, one, can I get along with you? And two, can you work well? Am I going to pick up your workload because you're lazy? I mean, I don't care really much about diversity. I can get along with anybody. I can be friends and diplomatic with anybody. Doesn't matter who you are. It just, as long as you work well, and we can end up working well together even though we may not see eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's the best way that I can answer that. And then I do like the competitive aspect that you said, like keep it competitive, but keep it like, you know, nice. But
Professional.
yeah.
Okay.
So.
I enjoy working with different people with different backgrounds, personalities. I almost think it's kind of fun to figure people out. I'm real big on why. So why does somebody act this way, or why is this rule maybe more important than others for this specific person? It gets you into the mindset of, you know, when people walk in the door, what is their day-to-day basis going, like how to treat them, because obviously around the board a friendly environment is really important, but you have people that deal with different things, so how do you keep that positivity growing and continuing? I enjoy it. I mean, life would be boring if everyone was the same. I will say that management style-wise, it can be a bit of a conflict, because you almost want your managers to be the same. You want them to enforce the same rules. They want you to treat everyone the same. So it is kind of a downfall whenever you get certain people with different personality traits or triggers or however that are within the same management team. How do you get them to be friendly or however when it comes to getting their points across? So I will say management style wise, you almost have to kind of look for a specific people with specific personality traits, or maybe those that you think you can develop in regards to maybe something that you deem negatory in their management style, so that you can have the same culture throughout your whole business.
Right. Well, thank you so much. We're down to our last question for our panel today, and it'll go to Nayeli. Have you ever resigned from a company or recruited out, and what reasons did you leave?
Yeah, sadly I have. I'm sure everybody has here too, but it wasn't because I wasn't giving it my all. It wasn't because I didn't love the profession. I was actually a teacher. I was a kindergarten, first grade teacher. And I mean, I just thought that was gonna be it for me. That was like 2 years ago. I went back to school to get my teacher certification, and the environment wasn't there. You know, it was a new school. I never really felt supported. I felt like a lot of the staff didn't get supported. Actually, most of us and my team quit at the end of the semester, but you know, I still love the profession. I might go back one day, I don't know, but you're not always gonna fit that environment, you know? And at the end of the day, you gotta, you know, take a step back and, you know, think about your mental health. You know, I have children, so I have to think about that. I have to be like, you know, I have to pay the bills, but and I love this job, but I have to take care of my family first. They come first, and I owe myself to them, and I need to be whole for them. So I thought it was important for me to take a step back.
Right. Yeah, so overall, what I gathered is everyone just wants to feel enriched, everyone wants to feel wholesome, healthy competition. So I don't know if you want to do Q&A or.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, so thank you, Jennifer.
You're
And I definitely want to introduce their companies as well, but I thought it would be important to first hear what they had to say before you heard the company name that they each represent. And then we'll definitely, if you have a question after that, then we still have time. We're doing good on time. Would love to hear your questions to any of the panelists. So Jennifer, I'll start with her, our moderator. She represents, I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly, the way the name, Community First ER. And then Alexis is with Metter Staffing. Celeste is with Chick-fil-A. Tess is with Community as well, Community First ER. Cody is with GageMaker. And Nayeli is with International Cooling Towers. So those are the companies that each of these panelists represent. They are leaders within their company, as you can hear from their answers. But I love that we've got some that have only been employed for a year, others as much as 18 years or something within their company, so that you can hear a wide variety from a wide amount of industries represented here. So is there any questions for our panelists that any of you
I have lots of questions.
Yes. You guys fire out. Wait.
So my first question is to Tess. Whenever you spoke, you said that you were ghosted. You were ghosted by companies?
Yes, so I would apply to various companies online because everything was online. And I would send in my application, and then I get the email confirmation, oh, we have your application, we'll review, we'll be in touch. And then I just wouldn't hear anything. Or I'd go through the process of, oh, let's set up an interview. You know, I'd talk to them on the phone or via Zoom, and then just, they'd be like, okay, we'll be in touch. Would never hear back. So it was very frustrating because, you know, especially I had a lot of friends who graduated the semester before me, and they were still looking for jobs, so it was very stressful because it's like, oh, I'm graduating and I'm not gonna have a job, and